walang napagatin. Internationale.
That was a clip. Now go watch the whole video. SongLab Live. Like and subscribe.
And it felt like they can't speak English, so they're stupid and dumb, and they can't understand anything but whipping. And we pass that along to our children and wonder why they're so angry.
That makes sense.
And wonder why some black men don't want to date a black woman because a black woman beat their asses. They're the slave master and unconsciously.
That makes sense.
So why would they be attractive to somebody that's gonna beat and whip on them like that?
That makes sense. Matter of fact, you really just explained why I stepped back from doing that and why I see, because with these kids today, again, it's different. That's why I see that it's different. That explains why I see that.
Mm-hmm. I saw the look in my son's eye when he was around 6. I carried a wooden spoon and I called it it had a name, a powwow.
You want to get a powwow?
I popped him with it, and the look he communicated to my eyes, it was like, how can the same hand that just breastfed and nurtured me now
smack the shit out of me?
This? Like, what is this?
Right.
Yeah.
He was so confused. He was genuinely confused. That's all I needed to see.
I go back and forth because I want my children to experience natural consequences. So it's like, yeah, I'm not going to spank you. However, if you go and engage in someone physically, you might get into a fight.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because I got 2 boys and they go at it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So one of them, they can't really hurt each other, like they're 6 and 7.
But why do they go at it?
Fighting over things.
But it's deeper than that. Shit. Like it could just because
or they just start being mean to each other.
But why? It could be an unconscious. He did all the shit, and it may not be true. Or
it may be a dominance thing.
It may, it's or like so many other things that we could do before we get. I just don't think whipping works for melanated people. Melanin is the component in gunpowder. All the weapons that we have, they will not operate without melanin. That's the key component.
Right.
So think of us having that in us. We're naturally explosive and powerful. Having somebody like that, I feel like I just think that we're so much smarter than we've been led to believe.
I agree.
Well, we're dealing with the trauma of our parents, right? Because they got whooped and their parents got whooped and all the way, back and back. So we're dealing with the pain that they went through and really just how they know how to parent. That was our foundation.
Right.
It's like eating chitlins. You know what I mean? Like, do you like the way it tastes? And
I have been guilty of that.
You know what I mean? Some things are cultural, and then you have to decide, if you want to continue this tradition, can bring it with you in the next generation. And spanking's been one of those things where, like, you're trying to figure out how to give a person a different way of solving problems. Like, the way you're going about things is we need to alter your behavior. So how can we change your behavior? What I found was, like, for me, I'm not going to change my behavior unless I have some new behavior to change it with. And I realized most people are really like that. Like, you can whip a person, but they're going to do the same shit because they're not replacing what they was doing wrong with something else.
Right.
Right.
So you got to really give a person, hey, I see you out here doing something that you shouldn't be doing. Why don't you try this instead? Take that path, go that direction. Because if you just whip a person, lock them up, whatever, you don't come out doing the same shit because that's what you know how to do.
Right.
And that's the thing about parenting and just being a person in general. We got to bring in, like, we really got to rein in on this psychology of how we think about being an authoritative figure and imposing your will on someone who can't defend themselves. That's
like a slave master.
Yeah.
Instead of a parent.
Yeah.
And I know that I had to read this book while I was pregnant, which was at, the idea of my husband at the time. We knew that we wanted to do it differently. And this book was called How to Raise a Brighter Child. And it challenged my concepts. Like, it would give you an example, like, your 6-month-old is at a restaurant strapped into their little booster seat. We're all at the table, but the water is there. And they reach in there and they grab the water and kind of knock the thing over, but they're swishing it around. What do you do? At that time, my first instinct was powwow. Like, no, we don't do that. Like, we're at a restaurant. Sit still. Be civil. You can't be too loud around these white people. Unconsciously is what we're saying.
Yeah.
But then they's like, no, that's science. They working. Similar to a producer experimenting with different sounds.
Yeah.
Then this is wet. What is that? I put it on. They're working. You just let them do that. And then if they want to put a little salt in there, what is that? That's different.
Right.
Like, but instead no. And they said what happens is that word, no. It
kills that creative
neuron. Their creative neuron kills it, and everything turns into no. So we have just successfully snatched away all their imagination and creativity and intuition in one word.
Yeah. Instead of providing an environment for them where they can splash in some water and see what happens.
Your son has got 2 pencils. He's on the desk. Stop it. No. Stop all that racket. No. And then they put the pencils down and he was a drummer.
Yeah. See, that's how I found out me and my girl are twin flames, because I love that. Like, to me, when I see my kids doing stuff that would naturally get them in trouble, if it's not hurting anyone, I don't even care. Like, I remember when my daughter was a toddler, we were in the DMV, and when they're like about 2 years old, that's when they like start to experiment with their voice. See how loud they can make it. See how quiet they can make it. Make weird sounds. So she in the DMV barking, just making all kinds of sounds, right? And it's the DMV, so people are looking. I'm like, hey, she's 2 and she wants to make noises. So
why should she have to adjust herself to get in the system, the matrix now? Yeah.
But my girl was so like embarrassed by it. I'm like, oh, okay, I kind of see things different. Like, that doesn't embarrass me. Like, things that embarrass me is like maybe when like a person hurts another person. Like, if my child went and bit somebody, I'd be like, oh shit, my bad.
Yeah. But making noise and being themselves.
Yeah, it's harmless. And we gotta encourage that that mind to explore and create and to test, see what they can do and what they're capable of.
Okay, so let me play devil's advocate then. Let me ask y'all this. Y'all don't think that doing it the other way is teaching them time and place?
What do you mean?
Meaning that there's a time and place for everything to occur. So, for example, some would say, let's use your story. Some would say in the middle of the DMV, right?
Yeah.
Time and place to express yourself, barking loud and things like that. That's not the time nor place. However, if you ever want to do it in any other spot that's not a quiet area, right, or a quiet spot, feel free, do what you want to do. Right, but here it's quiet, like a library. It's quiet, so on and so forth. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, what y'all think about that?
Well, I would probably, if it's picking a number, look at the number, and take her outside for a minute, maybe to not impose on somebody else. Like, I was thinking about you or him in the DMV, and I know that y'all been in the studio till 4 p.m. And then this kid is just. Sometimes I do get annoyed, but at the same time, I just feel like if people love kids, and understand how important it is for her to bark at that moment. It really is important because it's something that she's expressing, you know, but maybe bark a little lower, baby. I don't know. I don't know.
For me, yes, time and place is important. So, but she's just not going to get in trouble for it. So that's my thing about it. Like I don't want you to be annoying. I don't want you bothering people, barking in people's ears.
So
and such.
If she's not going to get in trouble for it, how would you handle it?
I think the lesson is time and place.
Okay.
So, you know, kids don't have an ego like that. They're not embarrassed. They're not.
That's how we're supposed to be.
Fear.
And God told us in their Bible. God told us to be like children.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So I got to explain to her, you know, this doesn't affect you because you're not embarrassed by it, and you're not going to think like maybe appropriate time and place, but you might be making other people uncomfortable. So you're going to want to be empathetic to maybe how they feel at this moment about what you're doing.
Yeah, I guess so. But in another devil's advocate with time and place is, who came up with the time and place?
I see what you did.
You feel me?
So the kid is right.
The kid is on. They're on their time.
They're on their time and place.
Yeah,
they in the right time because they don't care. Like the moment we care, we just came out of the moment.
Yeah, it's pure, right?
Man.
Yeah.
If we could only look at them like that, they're being sex trafficked at a high rate right now.
I heard, especially melanated.
What happened to Ghislaine Maxwell? She has the whole list.
Is that Jeffrey Epstein's person?
Why aren't we talking about her? We had so much to say about R. Kelly. This mofo got a whole island. He makes R. Kelly look like child's play.
And he ain't the only one.
I do feel like sometimes there are distractions. Like even the Jeffrey Dahmer thing, I haven't watched it yet. But I feel like, why right now and why that story?
And before Jeffrey Dahmer, Elvis.
Right.
Yeah,
Elvis.
By the same director. Elvis. I haven't finished watching Elvis yet.
But I think it's still it's exposing to me where they're trying to take the knowledge out of the libraries for our children to see. Somebody's doing a good job at slowly unraveling the truth, because we couldn't take it all. Like we wouldn't even believe it. We'd be like, no.
You can't give it all. That's and for that exact reason, actually.
Yeah.
It's not meant for
one of my mentors told me one time, because he heard me having one of these type of conversations, and I'm talking, if my truth was Mike Tyson's hands, he was bing, bing, bing. I was hitting him with all kinds of truth, and he was receiving it, but you could tell it started. So he was like, "Hey, bro,
too much for some people.
Sometimes you got to be careful on how much you drop, because A, they might not understand it, or B, it's going to explode their world."
And they can go crazy.
It's going to do the opposite of what you want it to do.
Yeah.
It can go crazy. Exactly.
Wow.
No, you definitely got to be careful with that. I had an adverse reaction to some Mormons that knocked on my door one time. And I was in my 20s, and I wasn't as like nice about other people's beliefs.
Right.
They just caught me when like, all right, let's talk. And I'm going to explain to you what you believe in. Because I don't think you know what you believe in. Or when it started, or who started it, or why it started, and they didn't know either. So, so we got to chopping it up, got to Googling. I'm like, pull your phone out, look it up. Pull your phone out, look it up.
I think they needed that.
And you know, one of them stood strong. Like he already know, like there's nothing that I can tell him. I was sent from the devil, even though he knocked on my door. I was sent from the devil. The other one just looked like his mind was blown. I was like, man, maybe I should kind of like
rethink this.
Yeah. Maybe like let him know, like, hey man, it's cool if you want to do that because it provides something to you.
But I think it was a good
facts
thing.
are going to be facts in life.
I think to me, like, because the Jehovah's Witness used to come to my door, and I would hear them pass everybody's apartment. I would sit up like, I heard a gate just open. They didn't stop over there, over there. I felt like my address was on their board, because Ahmad and I were devout Christians. And I felt like the girl that was with the other person, I felt like I was going to have to speak to her. Like this one was too far gone. But I did see that she was like asking some questions. I bet you she's not a Jehovah's Witness today.
Yeah, because the question she was asking.
So I think that Mormon, that one.
As a matter of fact, in the Mormon community, I've seen a lot of that. I've seen a lot of that in the Christian community.
What?
People get to asking questions, and
That's good
and
for
start
'em.
start putting stuff together. Myself, I've never been a religious person, but I definitely
that's
believe
great.
in a higher.
Your parents didn't.
They would. Well, no, they weren't. They showed us though.
Mm-hmm.
Like we went to church.
Oh,
hell,
okay.
my great granddaddy ran a church in
What?
Memphis. Yeah, so
Memphis?
yeah, so
I'm from Little Rock, Arkansas.
Yeah, you right there. I heard you say that when we was outside.
Cousins.
Exactly, same area.
So
So I'm familiar with church life, right? But we weren't actively. My parents weren't on that type of time.
And you were lucky.
Mm-hmm.
My parents was on the type of time of some of the things that we would talk about now. That's why
Whoa.
I think
That's
the way
why.
I think now.
And that's
Exactly.
what's more
Mhm.
beneficial for our children. You get more shit done. You're
Exactly.
manifesting. And
Mm-hmm.
it took me, I had to leave Little Rock, Arkansas at 18. I had to get out of there. My spirit was like, you're not going to grow here.
Yeah.
Because these people, they're not elevating. That energy is so, they took it over. Like
Mhm.
they got them people down there trained.
Did y'all own property in Little Rock? Like y'all own land?
Yeah,
and
my
stuff?
my parents, they own their house. My grandmother owned their house. Yeah.
That's the beautiful thing about those communities, though.
Man,
You
Yeah.
don't see that out here a lot. You know,
no,
y'all got generations of ownership, land, property, and stuff like that.
But most times it's like not in the best of neighborhoods. You'll have a nice home, but
Mm-hmm.
there's no walking out on the street.
right.
You know,
You inside.
there are no sidewalks like for you to go from your house to the grocery store. Even
Yeah, dirt roads.
you know, they really have it designed to keep you. You know, black people. Too many of us from gathering in one spot.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I always looked at it.
Yeah, it makes me think like if segregation helped us sometimes, like if it put us, because we had our own
I think it was the
infrastructure,
worst
right?
thing that could
Yeah,
happen.
I often say the same thing. That I don't think that was a good
Can't
move.
say it out loud
Mhm.
though, because
Shit, I do.
we fought.
Like we
fought.
had our own doctors and banks, and we was really building these communities, and then integration happened, and it's kind of like the infrastructure went to their banks, went to their schools, and their
Like
stuff.
even now, black people are the number one consumers.
Facts.
Right.
We spend the most
Like a
money, even though we
trillion or
have the
something
least.
crazy.
Like Coke and Pepsi, they weren't even. Well, Pepsi was marketing toward us. Coke didn't want to have black people even drinking their drink, but
Mhm.
they started seeing all the money that they were missing out on.
Mhm.
So they brought more poison in, and you know,
Fast food.
we sell more hair. Although they have that sold down.
Mhm.
You cannot, as a African American, even find a distributor that wants to give you hair to put in your stores.
Damn, is that real?
Yeah.
Really?
Mhm.
Oh my goodness!
That's crazy.
I feel
But we consume it the most.
yeah,
It's us.
we're the number one.
Everybody making
consumers.
money off of us but us.
That's that Nino Brown effect I was telling you about. Like we don't have boats like that to bring in this stuff, but
Mm.
there are people that they are going to like continue to operate because they are a pipeline.
Even
Yeah.
though we taught them how to sell.
That part.
Yeah. I mean, we could
Us
talk.
and the natives.
That
the
part.
indigenous.
Hmm.
Wow.
Have y'all heard about Africans being in America?
Yep.
Like, just it's not talked about enough, but like they make it seem like we just got here by slavery,
No,
Mhm.
which
Oh, I
like
have kind of.
he was
yeah,
already here.
yeah,
Mm.
He was already here. As a matter of fact, if you look at the history of others that was already here, natives, Aztecs, people that were already over
Yeah.
here, you'll see us.
African art,
Mhm.
African
Bro, when
pottery, and
I've always said it, and this is a fact. It's not nothing you could look up, but just look up things that are pertinent to what I'm about to say, right?
Mhm.
The digger you deep in a lot of people's history, the
Mhm.
blacker it gets.
Oh yeah. Have you seen
Yeah.
the human tree or something like that? It's a huge documentary that came out,
Mhm.
and they pretty much traced everything. All of they show you visually how it comes back to us.
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like there was an effort to remove that from the narrative.
Facts. And it was
Yeah.
whitewashing.
It's yeah, with blacks or Africans being in America as explorers, but then there's also some that came as immigrants for opportunities,
Mm-hmm.
because you don't really know how bad it is until you're experiencing it.
Mm-hmm.
So slavery was outlawed in other countries, in the 1800s. So
Wow.
you knew where to go or not to go, but you also knew like, hey, I am a business person and I sell this particular product. So I'm a free person. I can go to this land, wherever it is, America, England, wherever, and sell my product.
Mm-hmm.
So they have people come to America to do business, but then be captured or just fall prey to the law.
Until 12 came and captured that ass and was like, yeah, you thought you was free. You in the wrong hood, bro.
Yeah. So a lot of our history is just having to deal with the laws that are put in place from the people that want to control and maintain power. An interesting example of that, I don't know if you guys heard of, when South America was being colonized during like 1700s, they would actually no, this is the late 1800s, early 1900s. They would it took a long time to travel from England to South America. So you would be there for years. You wouldn't see your family for like a decade. You would be there to set up shop though. You'd be there to put your base there, if you will.
Wow.
So they would come in groups though. So when one group would come, they would assimilate with the people of that land. So they would take black wives. They would start getting bones in their noses. They would start wearing African garb. White people. Yeah, so when the next group came down, they were like, what's going on here? Oh, we got to put some laws in place because we have to make it illegal for you to marry these native people of this land. So that's what happened. Hey, it's illegal now for you to marry this, I forgot what they're called, Shashwa woman or man. It's illegal now against the law. Like, you're going to go to jail if you do it. Some of the children are now illegal. Like that, you cannot be a child of that origin. But what it does is, because when these groups assimilate, they have more numbers now. And so they have more power. That's how countries get formed usually, because the people that are there now are different than the people that are from England, and they're different from the people that are currently around there. They're like forming a new thing. And that's when they're like, hey, we got our own kind of culture, our own kind of vibe. We kind of fuck with Britain. We kind of fuck with stuff in Africa. We're doing our own thing over here. We want to be called this now. And they're like, wait. We got to put some laws in place before they branch off and try to control this resource. And historically, that's happened quite a bit. Like, people try to act like humans, like blacks have taken white wives in the 1800s, 1700s. It's risky, you know what I mean? But there's been all types of mixing throughout human history. And that's not talked about enough. It's not really like shared, like, okay, people are going to do what people do, which is have sex everywhere. Yeah. And assimilate and taste the culture and appropriate.
Yeah, it's not going to be stopped. Like,
it's
dumb
unstoppable
to try to stop it, because it's also what, so I keep putting that up, my hands keep, but it's okay. Also what keeps it's going to keep us moving forward, because what you resist is going to persist anyway.
And I think it's we have to recognize exploitation. So when there is a new thing that arrives, you don't want it to exploit that culture, those people, those systems. I don't know if y'all heard about Black Panther, what happened with that situation.
The COINTELPRO.
The Black Panther movie.
The COINTELPRO, how it dismantled it.
No, I don't think it's that. So Disney, they based this, T'Challa in that world off of a real African tribe.
Okay.
That has the panther god. I forgot the god's name, Beset, I think. And they told him, like, hey, Disney, like, this is our religion. Like, you can't do it like this. Like, you can't just come in here and use our gods and our religion and our spirituality like this. It's going to be consequences. This is what they told the Disney. There's going to be consequences for using.
Oh, you talking about Black Panther the movie, not the Black Panther Party? Okay.
No.
So there's a real Wakanda. Wait a minute, we're not going to skip past this. There's
no.
Real Wakanda.
It's not a real Wakanda. It's like technology wise.
No,
so
it might be. I heard of that metal. That metal.
No, I'm just bullshit.
No, just the real people that practice, or they use them.
That was a real religion. That's where they got the idea.
Ancestors and all of that. Yeah.
Right. Yep. And they have a mountain and all that currently that they pray to, and so pretty much the people of that land was like, hey, this is gonna be a cursed situation. Like there's gonna be blood taken from this. This is what they told to Disney. You can go read the paperwork. And
Chad Boswell
got sick. He took their king was taken out. Like
that's crazy.
You know, conspiracy or whatever. I don't know if it's real or not, but the truth is the truth. Like Disney did go talk to them, and they said there will be consequences if you continue to do it this way.
I just felt like too. That's kind of similar. I felt like his passing was that if you're gonna be a hero in the cartoon world, we can't let you live.
That's crazy.
Especially
that makes sense.
Right before the pandemic, it's kind of like I was sadder than I thought I would be. I didn't know him like that, and it was a brother, but other people have passed, and I wasn't that. It felt like our hero, our hope, had been taken away right before the pandemic, which is also designed. I think they understand how to, making us being toxic with the treatment. They figured out early could kill us, heartache, headaches, and all that, because sicknesses are first and energetic. Like you haven't healed.
Yeah.
So you're just vibrating that energy. After a while, to manifest into something physical as a warning, like, hey, I'm down here and I need healing. And so they understand. Like I've been in Arizona since 2016, and I do personal assistant for a lady. I had to pick her up from the hospital. She Black lady lives in Anthem. They left the thing that they gave her IV in her arm.
Oh wow.
She was misdiagnosed. I was sitting there, misdiagnosed with cancer twice.
Yeah.
I said, oh, they understand, because she had a breakdown in the place. Like, don't tell my sons. Like, I got to figure this shit out. I watched her go through a energetic spiral down, and she's a hard worker. She needs to be up here. And then her doctor gets back in town, and she's like, so what do I need to do about this cancer? Nobody's giving me any. And her doctor said, who told you had cancer?
Oh.
Yeah.
You did.
No, he was away. That doctor that came, yeah. And he was like, you do not have cancer. But did they dig in there to try to find? And then when they left the thing in, I have it on video. I said, so what you're telling me is when they transferred the thing, they didn't put it in the system. And the white lady realized that I caught her. And she was over there typing. I said, is that what happened? She said, yes. And so when we got back to the house, 20 minutes later, I told the lady I work for, I said, they're going to fix it. They're going to make it seem like that didn't happen. And that's exactly what happened.
Oh, my goodness.
So it's a system to kill us. The Nazi Germans, they went into the hospitals and the science. They've been giving us polio vaccinations and all that stuff. And
that's the thing, too. Like, I feel like they understand the system. So even with the Disney thing, it's not like they can play ignorant. They may have very well understood what was going to happen and then just still decide to do it anyway. It's like when I found out that Rockefeller, the millionaire from the early, that he had, what are they called? People that read charts and astrologists and all that on his payroll. That's their job. And he wasn't the only billionaire millionaire to do that.
I was just gonna say, you know what's crazy? There's a lot of people that do that. A lot of rich people that do that. There's a lot of government entities that do that.
Yeah,
there's a lot of people that use the moon phases.
Right.
Like when the Mercury retrograde is going, don't sign
we just
shit.
had 6 planets in retrograde.
Don't enter into any contract. You wait till that mug is gone.
That
yeah. No, that's good advice.
And it's work. The moon phases, I'm going to go to a powwow. I've been going to the moon powwow. Matter of fact, when I was at the Erykah Badu concert, my Ajay, she's well versed in the dark arts, and I'm learning it, but I won't use it. But you have to learn it.
Right. You got to understand.
Yeah, but she's the one that if she knows there's a pedophile and you have to have your receipts, like court documents, and she will
Mm-hmm.
Like, so she has powwows. Anybody's invited. She just lights her fire, and you connect with your ancestors, and that's the way. And I can't explain it, but ever since I've been going to her powwows, like I was at the Erykah Badu concert, and she's like, "I'm gonna be lighting a fire and listening to her music to help you manifest meeting her."
Yeah.
Because I felt like I was gonna meet her, but I didn't. I don't want to disappoint myself, so I'm like, if it happens, it happens. She's like, it's gonna happen. Just stay focused and prepared. It's gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't tell people that that's probably that happened.
Yeah.
But I see spirits over there and everything, and I'm comfortable.
When is this? Does she still have
on
it?
the full moon? Every full moon.
All right, I'm coming to the next one.
Okay, it's Sunday.
Pull up this
It's
Sunday.
I can't come this Sunday. I'll come to the next one after that.
Okay.
Yeah, next month.
Yeah.
Next month, I'm gonna pull up to that.
We need more brothers to come because it's just,
Mm-hmm.
and it's 11:44 right now. I just came in here, the phone to show you.
I see the numbers all the time, randomly. It'd be the most random thing, like a time ticking down. It'd just all of a sudden hit 222 or 444, whatever.
Some people
While
ignore.
I'm just driving down the street, especially a street that I've never driven down before.
Mm-hmm.
Look up at the address, 333 something.
Yeah.
Or 1212 something. 1111. That's another one I see all the time.
Oh wow, you see 1111? That means
literally all the time.
It means if you
I
look
would
them
say
up,
almost every day.
you look up the meaning. Which if you use this, type in angel number 1111 and then just type in Joanne. There's a lady, she put her interpretations up in 2012, right before, in 2012 there was this alignment. The pyramids and 3 planets aligned, and they measured it. It was like 33,
mm-hmm.
which are the numbers of ascended masters, like Jesus and Buddha. And,
yes.
So
yeah.
Right, which is why 33 is such an important
pay
number.
Attention.
Facts. You said angel number what?
Angel and Joanne. So Joanne Sacred. Kind of just sunk back.
Do you hear that in your headphones?
Mm-mm. I'm supposed to hear myself talking? Yeah, I don't hear anything.
Have we been potting this whole time?
Yeah, we've been potting the whole time.
Oh, that's dope. Huh? Oh. I'm over here just.
With headphones on for no reason.
I hope I'm not too loud because I couldn't hear myself. I want to show you this ghost we caught in her back. So right when the pandemic hit, I panicked because we were in the middle of moving from one apartment to the next. But I was like, should we sit still? Is it airborne? Everybody was trying to figure out what was going on. So I said, all right, ancestors, just be with me. I got real calm. And then tell me you don't see.
I see it already.
Look at his face. Looking like Yoda.
Oh.
So you know what's crazy? And we're not the only ones. A lot of people see stuff like that all the time or feel it. I feel it a lot.
And they say make a demon. It's not. That's why religion is dangerous.
Exactly.
All this time I'm thinking it's a demon, and
it's not, because there's something now. Don't get me wrong. It can be. They out there for sure, but if you just pay attention to it, who is who and what is what.
We're supposed to be connected with that kind of stuff.
Exactly.
Starseed. That's what that is. We have a starship family that's helping try.
Well, so like fear. I had a fear of these things. I don't know what you guys experience.
I used to.
And sleep paralysis. The stage.
Yeah,
the stage in between
that's happened
consciousness and going off. So
yep.
I would have these wild experiences, and I'm very like scientific. I'm like, how am I going to prove this? How am I going to explain this? How can I test this? Like, what? I don't believe in supernatural. I just believe in natural. I have to be able to naturally explain something.
Don't believe in supernatural. This is an orb, and look what I said.
Oh, wow.
Okay, and you see the flame it put on my forehead. Then it decided to put a heart on my third eye.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
I was just playing around with an orb. Fire on the third eye, and then a heart, perfectly shaped. I can't explain that. Like,
yeah,
I can't explain it. But.
So the things like in dreams, usually running from a lot is yourself. You realize the person chasing you is you.
Wow.
And it's often a different form of you.
Ooh.
That's
so, yeah. So it can be anyone. It can be Freddy,
it's either
Freddy
yourself
Krueger.
or something that you're dealing with or about to transition to or from.
Mm-hmm.
Wait,
Now,
say that again.
Either yourself, which is everything I'm about to say is yourself, is the version of yourself. It's either yourself physically, something you're going through, or something you're about to transition to or from.
Mm-hmm. Now, I think that you are more receptive to entities when you're in that state. Whatever dimension they exist in, they know that they can come chop it up with you, and it's not going to affect anything in this timeline. You know what I mean? So I do think it's not always you; it is something else. And there's been other times where like there's something else. You know, that feeling of awe, of powerfulness.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, well, you know, I'm just gonna go see what it is. You know, it's like looking under your bed. Like I know something's under the bed, but I'm gonna look anyway.
Wow.
I'm gonna look, and then it's gonna eat me up, or are we gonna talk about how you became a monster? Like we gonna figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going into the closet, under the bed, into the darkness. You know what I mean? Because with words, as we talked about, like, you know, how the associations with darkness and black and how they want to make it sound bad. Well, you know, blackness and darkness is everywhere. We're all made of this dark energy.
Everything comes from that.
Mm-hmm.
Everything comes from that. So you can't be afraid of it. You just gotta understand
integrate
it,
and learn how to operate in it.
And so
I thought, my bad, I didn't mean to cut you off. I thought one of the most powerful lines I ever heard from a movie, there's messages that come from everywhere, is when your boy Bane was like,
yeah.
what do you say? Oh, you think the dark is your allies? I was born in this. What are you talking about? Raised and molded by it. I was like, yeah, that's everybody. I think that went over a lot of people. I didn't catch that. That was a real line right there. And I was like, that's a fact. That's a super fact.
Super fact, bro. And there's different archetypes that exist like that in entertainment. You know how they say like movies describe what's going on. There's Bane. There's Riddick.
Riddick was another one. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Technically, Batman can be one. You know, he operates in the dark and is a vigilante. But there's different ways of engaging with this reality that involves and is the dark, and it's how you and your principles and your what you decide to do with that energy and in your understanding of it.
That's why it's not the magic. It's not bad.
Right.
It's just the hands that it's in, your vibration.
Right.
And when I started understanding energy, you know, being, you know, inputted into the Christianity faith and having to deny being able to feel spirits, and, you know, I wasn't trained. So to jump off of that, you know, and dive into what I'm diving into now, I had to just dive in there. Like I had to, like, because I was either going to stay here and stay stagnant, or, you know, in fear, because they understood that fear is the only thing that they need to destroy us.
Right.
Yeah.
It's the one thing that would keep us away
Fear
from our
and doubt.
power. You know, they people that pull tarot cards, they call them soothsayers in the Bible. That's demonic. Me having natural intuition and getting around people, and then information channeling through me to them that's gonna better their lives or warn them. How is that bad?
Right.
How?
Yeah.
Carrying a crystal that's designed by the earth
to naturally do
to
what
naturally
it does.
do what it
Didn't
does.
do nothing to this crystal or rock. It naturally does this.
That's something a God would do, is really supply their people with the tools and information to heal themselves.
Oh my goodness. So do you know the science and stuff of the crystals? Is that what you're learning?
Just a little bit.
Oh my, hey, time out. I'm gonna show you a podcast because I manifested you. I was talking with maybe Earl or Grant or someone, and I was like, because you know Grant wears crystals. And I was like, you know, I don't know what those do, man, but maybe someone can come on here and one day just tell me what they do. And
I would
like,
love to do that. I'll bring my book. I have designed being in this business and seeing it with myself. Like I look at it seriously. I don't really have to have a whole bunch of money. I'm not going to have that kind of time, which is why I'm going to have to really stop messing around and charge what my time is worth to put healing. This is not just glasses. I have some turquoise in there.
Yeah.
There's carnelian. This was my first stone that I ever carried. So when you carry a stone, they become like your personal healers. They're breathing, living entities that have to be charged by the sun. They have to be saged because people have been touching on them, and they just are naturally gonna just start healing, whether you believe it or not. So I started developing, and it's still there. I have 2 nodules over here and 1 on this side, but they were huge, and I was scared to go to the doctor at first. So my friend was like, "Go to a metaphysical shop." I was still Christian. I was like, "A what?" Metaphysical shop, and see what'll help you, work with that. And I was like, okay. I walked in the shop and I asked the lady, I said, I have these goiters here. And she said, "Oh, you need an orange carnelian. It's also called AKA the singer stone." I didn't tell her nothing about me being no singer. And so I was like, okay. So I started wearing it. She said you to wear it right near it. And I swear maybe 6 to 8 months later, I felt like it was shrinking, but I was like, then my people started telling me, "Oh, that thing is going down. What you doing? Keep doing that." And then when I got with my twin flame, she's like, "Okay, that's cool with the shrinkage and all, but your ass is going to the doctor." So she took me, and then I got it tested. They came back benign.
Well,
doesn't affect my singing, eating.
Opposite of everything.
The opposite of everything.
Why are we twins?
But they're mirrors.
Everything. Yeah.
Mirrors. Everything you need to work on. Like, I thought I was such a patient person, and then I get this kind, gentle soul. Either I'm gonna be a bully with my energy, and be a little bit fidgety because she's younger. She's 9 years younger than me, and she's white.
Mine was younger than me.
So we have a lot of things that aren't we have
generational a little bit.
Yeah, but she showed me where I needed to work at, which is also making me a better person. She brought her best friend who gifted me with a career that I didn't even know that's part of my natural thing. It took me back to when I was a kid, collecting rocks and stamps, and they would just get rid of that stuff. Don't be bringing that stuff in here.
Yeah.
That sofa rock stink. Where did you even get it from?
Right.
I don't even know. I had a yellow sofa rock about this big.
Wow.
And it smelled like a match, But Arkansas is the number 1 place for like quartz crystals and all that. And I couldn't bring any home.
It's amazing how those things grow or like, I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. Like, how's a crystal become a crystal?
They form.
They just form.
They crystallize. You can actually. They have kits where you can do
answer
one
that
at
by
home.
science. Like, you talk about how you were into science. You can answer that scientifically.
Yeah,
you'll get your answer.
Yeah, they have.
But there's a spiritual spirit, I guess, for a double thing that is with these crystals that is not explained. There's something completely different. It's a whole nother power, and we, not only do we harness certain type of powers, but it's in what we.
And then the copper is like a conduit, so it's heightening it, all the stuff on there.
It takes all that stuff.
Like, this is a garnet. Garnet is good for drawing love, healing from love, heartbreak. I forget physical ailments. Like the book I have at home, it lists the spiritual and then at the end the physical. Some of them are good for clearing your eyes. I put together a combination of rose quartz, hematite, and lepidolite, which has lithium in it, and it's a bipolar. It helps ease bipolar and anxiety and depression and stress. I can put together, if you have high blood pressure, there's some combinations you put together for that. That makes sense. That
I know somebody needs that one.
Let me know. I can whatever sickness it is, cancer. I have a book.
Right now, I know somebody needs
where a scientist, her name is Melody. She put it together, a white scientist, and this is what they do. Like, it's just they put the truth right in front of us and told us it was witchcraft and bad. And
it's crazy. I used to look for those type of conversations just because I like debate. I'm not looking to change your mind. If whatever you doing makes you a better person, then by all means keep doing it. But look at this, right? That's my attitude towards everything.
Wow.
So Jeremiah 10 something. It talks about be not like the heathen, be afraid to look at the sky. Right?
Really?
But they would say, don't look at the sky. It says don't look at the sky. I said, no, it's telling you not to be afraid to look at the sky. So explain that.
Wow, Jeremiah 10?
Jeremiah 10 something. I want to say it's around 10:3 where it also talks about not to celebrate Christmas.
It says it? Christmas?
Not verbatim like that, but the way they describe it, that's it. Do not
like
worship the tree. They decorate it with silver and gold.
Oh, wow.
Right. That's exactly what it says.
So was this a prophet speaking? Is that what Jeremiah is? I'm going to have to look.
I got to look it up. But here's what's interesting. So out here, I was part of a church community, and I love the people there, right? This is nothing against them, nothing. Like, it was all healthy conversations, right? Again, I'm not here to try to take what nobody believes. And don't get me wrong, I was right there with them because I learned a lot. At that church I was at, I got hella fruit.
Wow, yeah.
Hella fruit from there. You understand what I'm saying? So it wasn't a bad thing, but just the construction of religion itself is what I don't fuck with. Yeah. But I got hella fruit, super full, right? But I used to ask them all the time about that particular passage. So fam, every Christmas we in here decorating with 6-7 Christmas trees. But it says right here, woo woo woo.
What would they say?
Some of them didn't have an answer. One of them was like, "You're right."
Oh,
so why did we do it?
Y'all got an alarm?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. There's some tough ones, man. Like Book of Job. That was a tough one for me. Y'all remember that one?
Yeah.
I was like, for real?
God really gonna test them and kill his kids and do that? Don't sound like a loving God. That's a narcissist.
That don't seem fair. Like, thank you for the new fam. I don't want a new family. Remember?
I wanted the one I had.
I want my family back.
So you just paid for my old life? I'm supposed to be happy now? I got all this money, but you killed. Yeah.
You had a challenge with the devil?
Hey, but you know what that took me? That one there taught me glass half full at all times.
Yeah.
There's always a bright side. I don't care how dark it gets. Matter
of fact, that's what we had to make that
matter
into.
Of fact, this is why I learned to embrace the dark. I don't care how dark it is. We finna sit and play in this shit. Don't worry about it. We good.
Yeah.
Learn how to operate. I went to prison before. I had to learn how to create and manifest in the middle of chaos and darkness.
Yep.
You need to write a book about that.
Everybody says that.
Yeah, because the ones that coming out need to know what you did to stay on track.
So I thought about public speaking about it.
Yeah, you need to be doing that.
A book should come. You're right, because I keep hearing that message.
Yeah.
It hasn't stopped yet.
I'm supposed to write one too. I want to be able to just tell somebody and then have them put it.
It's cooking.
I told you.
It's cooking.
I told you.
Hey, it's almost 12. We can wrap up. Oh, it's 12:01.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Hey, I appreciate you guys just chopping it up right now. You got some nice sound bites and stuff like that.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Love building. Don't even feel like that conversation was that long.
Right.